Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. By the way, I love it when some of you guys tell me that my intro is so cringeworthy that you can't bear to listen to it. But otherwise your content's pretty good. I love those comments. I mean, take it or leave it. You can always fast forward 2 or 3 seconds into the video if you don't want to hear the intro, guys. So we saw XRP climbing a little bit today, and now we're starting to see a little bit of a decline. It was trading roughly around 31 cents, now 30.5, so not huge moves, but it feels big, right? It feels bigger than it really is in a lot of ways. And you know, the sentiment in the market has been going down, especially since back on, I believe it was back in June at some point, June 22nd, 2019, we saw XRP hitting a high of just over 50 cents. Okay, it was the first time we saw a 50 cent XRP since 2018, but we couldn't withstand the momentum, and now we're back, you know, just yesterday we were hovering in the 29 cent area, but this is getting a lot of people down, and a lot of theories are stirring in the space. So I wanted to touch on a couple of these. One of these had to do with this open letter here from Bread Garlic House. That's at Bread, B-R-E-D, Garlic House on Twitter. And this is his open letter to Ripple. Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson, and Miguel Villas. So during the past 1.5 years, Ripple has taken great measures to distance itself from XRP. XRP holders have been told in clear and subtle terms that holding XRP does not equate to holding Ripple stock. This is something we all know. Absolutely, we agree. The performance of XRP is independent of the financial performance of Ripple, and I doubt anyone other than the extremely uninformed investor thinks otherwise. However, that does not absolve Ripple from answering some of our questions. To get to that, let's rewind a bit. A few years ago, XRP was still called Ripples. Ripple actively promoted it, airdropped it, and sold it to the retailer until the FinCEN agreement. Ripple staff were active on all discussion channels, answering even hardball questions. Thousands of retail investors bought XRP thanks to Ripple enlightening us about its possibilities. We saw that you had a plan to promote XRP usage. We, the retailers, provided initial liquidity for XRP. Not banks, not MoneyGram, not Mercury FX, us, the retailers. Then, of course, December 2017 happened and XRP was all over mainstream news. And with that began the change. Ripple staff no longer took part in any online discussions, with the exception of Joel Katz, who is indeed David Schwartz, and even he too started avoiding the hardball questions eventually. We retailers were suddenly the red-headed stepchild, and Ripple did everything to distance yourself from us. There was even a laughable attempt at propping up a community head who made about a half a dozen posts on XRP chat before disappearing and then eventually leaving Ripple. We celebrated every partnership announcement with the silent hope that one day we would see XRP usage. However, with each passing month, Ripple's plans for XRP became less and less transparent to us, the retailers. And with the RippleNet branding, it has become completely opaque. Now the argument might be, we are not your target customer, we aren't. But we aren't asking you about the inner workings of XCurrent or XRapid. Those are questions your actual paying customers ask you to answer. No, we are asking about more transparency on the plans for distribution and adoption of XRP, which thousands of us bought in based on your promotion of the asset. Hundreds of millions, even billions of XRP are in circulation thanks to us. So I am sorry, whether you want to or not, as the largest holder, promoter, and developer of XRP, you have an obligation to all those retailers who provided you initial liquidity when no financial institution would dare touch a digital asset. Lest you think that we are singling you out, we are asking no more of you than what other blockchain projects with enterprise ambitions are already doing. Please take a look at VeChain and Tron. They have a clear-cut plan on what to do with the tokens they hold, have a buyback plan to reward the initial retailers who helped them off the ground, and a very clear distribution plan. We lack all of the above with XRP and would like the following questions to be answered. So Bread Garlinghouse continues by saying, what is the roadmap adoption plan for XRP? We need to hear a bit more than the suitcase on a plane story. And if you guys don't remember, that is a famous story that Brad Garlinghouse mentions all the time when talking about quick cross-border transactions. It actually takes less time to send money if you were to put it in a suitcase, get on a plane, and go to the destination that you choose to send to. Number 2, what is the distribution distribution plan for the escrows? What part of it is already spoken for? And number 3, why are financial institutions only buying OTC, which is over the counter, instead of the open market, thereby removing buy pressure? Number 4, why are programmatic sales always in the open market and not OTC, thereby creating additional sell pressure? And why do these sales intensify every time XRP tries to make an upward move? Number 5, what are the divestment plans of the personal holdings of Chris Larsen and Arthur Brito? We know Jed McCaleb's divestment plan was very clear, so why do the other 2 founders get an exception? Now, some might think these questions are intrusive, but as Ripple is the company aiming at making the global financial arena more transparent and level the playing field, I believe it is fully justified if the same principles are applied to you as well. Before signing off, I would just like to add that we have never had more faith in XRP than right now. We just wish that the company that has the most influence in determining its fate was a bit more transparent with the people who were the rock upon which you built your church. Thank you, and we wish you all the success in the world. So a very, very direct and thought-provoking letter from Bread Garlic House. So thank you so much at Bread Garlic House on Twitter. If you guys aren't following him, I suggest you follow him. He's got some interesting points here. Some of it I can understand, especially for, us investors who are getting into this and, we haven't really seen any real significant gains. So we kind of want to know where this is heading, and we're getting these vague answers. Some of it, though, I feel like has to do with the fact that, there are NDAs up the wazoo. We know things are happening in the background, and right now we can only speculate on a lot of it. I think we will be pleasantly surprised down the road once the floodgates open and we start to see what is really occurring behind those doors that have been closed for so many months. Guys, I will link this tweet in the description if you want to add your 2 cents in, and I want to hear your comments about this in the comment section of this video. So there was this. I'm going to keep going, though, because after I saw this tweet here from Florent Moulin at FMoulin7. 3 months ago, I wrote a deep dive on XRP circulating supply that was only sent to Mizari crypto subscribers. As the Q2 2019 transparency report is due next week, I am happy to release the full study publicly and discuss some estimations on Q2 sales. So he goes into a few findings here. I'm just going to read a bit of this for you guys. One of the key findings was that the real 6-month inflation based on on-chain analysis was likely to be 11.6% compared to the 4.5% reported by Ripple's API. Another finding was that Ripple had increased the number, or rather the percentage of volume restricted XRP sales on exchanges that had been otherwise identified as having a high proportion of fake volume, and the reason for this was unclear. So this guy is questioning Ripple's motives and the XRP volume that we have seen thus far. I conducted an on-chain analysis stating that the identifiable Genesis addresses, so block 32,572, identify most Ripple-affiliated wallet addresses, including founders and foundation wallets. The sell pressure was not only coming from Ripple itself, but also from Chris Larsen. So he is indeed accusing Ripple of selling XRP, possibly to be keeping the trade price down. So now up in Q2 2019, the sell pressure from Ripple founders has intensified. Chris Larsen's addresses distributed over 300 million XRP during the quarter, while Jed resumed selling its XRP in early June after a 5-month break. And guys, if you click here, you can see all the research. He's taken snapshots of wallet addresses and transactions. So there's a lot here that goes over this. I'm going to go down here. The sell pressure from founding coupled with Ripple's own distribution is likely a key factor driving XRP's underperformance to date. And as you guys can see, XRP down 11%, only second to Stellar, which is down 22%. Meanwhile, other cryptocurrencies have gained year to date. Talks a little bit more about Q2 sales, and then down here, the volume reported on CoinMarketCap. He does mention one last point for those who claim that XRP is a deflationary asset. While it is true the outstanding supply keeps decreasing over time, at the current burn rate, it would take an additional 20 years to burn what was distributed by the foundation/founders every day. So he's saying that since Ripple and Ripple's founders and CEOs, so on and so forth, own so much XRP, they have the ability to control XRP, and they are indeed pushing the price down right now, keeping the price low. For whatever reason, guys, this is just a theory. This is speculative at this moment. XRP1 asks Galgatron thoughts. Also, Nick33 asking for Galgatron's thoughts. Galgatron has responded here, but since he has blocked me on Twitter, I cannot see those tweets. So what does any resourceful person do when they get blocked on Twitter? They create another Twitter account so that they can see Galgatron's tweets. And ultimately, the only thing Galgatron says is the only people that find Messari credible are those with no integrity. Look for their booth at Area 51. Okay, so maybe another hit piece on Ripple and XRP. But, you know, there is a lot of opacity, even as Brett GarlicHouse does mention here, with regards to the volume and possible manipulation. Could Ripple have a reason to keep XRP price low? I know there are lots of you guys who do think that this is quite possible and even probable, in that they still want their clients to be able to accumulate XRP and be able to give their clients XRP at a good enough price. They don't want there to be too much speculative activity right now. So they are purposely keeping the price down to keep the prices low until they can kind of get that ecosystem ready and set to go. And then once the cryptocurrency regulations come to pass worldwide, those floodgates will open and then it's free market Charlie. All right, XRP will be used, prices will go up, prices will go down. We, the people, the hodlers, will become market makers. We'll be trading XRP at whatever the market rate is, whether that's $50 in XRP or $20 or $2 or $100. We don't know yet because the volume just isn't there. I thought this tweet was interesting too. I also saw this just coincidentally from Michelle XRP bot number 9859885. Cheeky Michelle. That's at Michelle Schlen 6 on Twitter, and this is a must read for all altcoiners. And it has to do with this guy here. For $15,000, he'll fake your exchange volume you'll get on CoinMarketCap. Just going to read the takeaway information, guys. Again, I will link all these articles in the description if you want to read them further. So Gotbit inflates trading volume on obscure cryptocurrency exchanges for a fee and has about 30 token projects as clients. What this guy does is he programs bots to trade tokens back and forth with each other, creating the illusion of active markets so the assets can get listed on CoinMarketCap. Its co-founder says exchanges are aware of this manipulation, but are not interested in stopping it. While it's rare to hear market manipulators talk openly about their trade, there are other businesses like this out there, experts say. So this guy will actually fake trade volume for $15,000 if you want your coin to look like it's been trading on CoinMarketCap, and what he's essentially do is wash trading. Now, for those of you guys who do not know what that is, wash trading is a process whereby a trader buys and sells a security for the express purpose of feeding misleading information to the market. In some situations, wash traders are executed by a trader and a broker who are colluding with each other, and other times wash trades are executed by investors acting as both the buyer and the seller of the security. Important to point out, wash trading is illegal under US law, and the IRS bars taxpayers from deducting losses that result from wash trades from their taxable income. So very illegal practice in the regulated market. Cryptocurrencies, though, right now still under review. It's been the Wild West for a long time. Could this be, in essence, what Ripple is doing? Faking trade volume, wash trading. Again, guys, just another theory, speculative. I'm not saying it is happening one way or another. If we presume Ripple is keeping the price down for XRP, all I can think is that it's for good reason, to get that ecosystem up and running. And so if they need to keep the price down in the short term, sure, a lot of you guys are going to be frustrated about that, but you have to keep your eye on the prize. I know the XRP price will go up. The math just states that it has to. Okay, with billions and one day trillions of dollars going through these channels, XRP will have to be at a higher price in order to fulfill that liquidity. And I always love to go back to this David Schwartz tweet because he really just spells it out for us. The most obvious benefit to Ripple of an increased price for XRP is that it increases the value of Ripple's XRP. This means that Ripple has a greater ability to incentivize partners and liquidity. Okay, and then down here, I love using this example because when Bitcoin sold for $1, you couldn't really use them to buy or sell a house. You can now. Bigger transactions require bigger value. The higher the price of XRP, the larger the payments Ripple can target. Do you guys really think Ripple's going to be happy targeting small micropayments for the rest of its days? No, that has never been the plan. You know, they wouldn't be invited to these huge tech conferences with the IMF, governments around the world, they just wouldn't be unless there was a bigger plan at play. This is what gives me confidence that the price of XRP will rise. So despite theories, that we see on Twitter, and this open letter is beneficial, I don't really think we will get answers though from these guys. I think there's way too much happening behind the scenes. I mean, like Bread Garlic House, I would like to hear answers, of course, we all would. But as I just said, there's lots going on behind the scenes. Patience really is a virtue in this market. The weak hands will fail and the strong ones will be rewarded. Anyways, that's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.